I knew he was going to pardon his son. I thought it would come in January, but then I forgot he was going to be sentenced on December 12th in 10 days, so it makes sense. What did you initially think when you heard the news?
Well, I think that we all thought that Joe Biden would pardon Hunter Biden. What I think maybe we didn't count on was that this would go back 10 years and that it would be a sweeping pardon that could possibly include anything under the sun that may have taken place over the last decade. I think we all thought that there was a strong possibility that with the charges that were placed before us that we were all aware of, that he would end up pardoning him before leaving office. But this has cast so much more light and speculation on what could be or what we could be about to discover once there's a change of guard and people are able to get in there and start digging around about what did happen over the last 10 years. I think this has cast so much more suspicion on the Biden family than we ever could have dreamed of.
Yeah, I mean, look, the 4 years that you, myself, tons of people in the America First MAGA movement have been saying, this is a corrupt family. Hunter knows where the bodies are buried. He was the one peddling the influence for Daddy because Daddy was sitting as vice president, so he had to be the mouthpiece. And now he can never be deposed. He can never be questioned about any of these business dealings. Literally, Joe just pardoned, well, he'll be under presidential immunity, but pretty much what he did is pardon the entire family by making it so Hunter doesn't have to talk.
Essentially, and look, I'm not sure of all of the legal ramifications of this, but I'm not sure that it means necessarily that Biden can't ever be deposed or that Hunter can't ever be deposed or made to answer questions. And in fact, it's even been speculated by some lawyers that he may lose his Fifth Amendment privileges because he is no longer able to incriminate himself. And so in that circumstances, he could be made to actually answer questions without the ability to plead the Fifth and provide information.
Interesting. There should be no reason for Trump not to pardon all, if not most of all, the J6ers. Again, if there's video of somebody beating a cop on their head with something or busting down doors and windows and storming in, you should get a reasonable sentence for that. But out of the 1,500 people prosecuted, that's like what, a dozen? A half a dozen? I mean, let's be real. I think Trump should give a big sweeping pardon. What do you think?
Well, look, I think that everybody is in agreement that, there needs to be some sort of reasonable justice for anybody who may have instigated violence or property damage, broken a window, what have you. I think it's really important to mention, I try to take as many opportunities as I can to say that, the vast majority of January 6th defendants have taken plea deals. And in these plea deals, that means that the government has full power to create the story and the narrative behind that person's participation in January 6th. And then in the other cases, of course, people went to trial and the government's getting a 100% conviction rate on the trial. So even in those circumstances, they get to write the narrative of what that person did or did not do.
Yep.
Now, they're taking a lot of people who found themselves in a defensive posture when they started being attacked by police officers, and at a certain point may have put their hands up defensively or put their hands on an officer defensively, and they're presenting that as an aggressive, instigative act of violence, when in many cases it absolutely was not. So it's important to remember a lot of people were convicted or accused of instigating violence who did not do that.
Oh, agreed.
But I would like to believe that what happened with Joe Biden pardoning Hunter Biden will have little to no impact on what President Trump will or will not do. And honestly, I don't even really want to posture or frame it that way, because I would like to believe, and I do believe, that if and when President Trump makes the decision to pardon January 6th defendants, he's going to be doing it because he knows it's the right thing to do, and not because the window has somehow been opened by Joe Biden's corruption.